Accident. We're now joined by Rakesh Chopra, former member of the Indian Railways Board, and Anil Tiwari, a railway expert. Thank you so much both for joining us. Extremely tragic circumstances to be speaking to you in, and as we've been saying since the morning, one had hoped that such accidents were a thing of the past, because for several years now we've not seen such major accidents taking place. But this unfortunate tragedy taking place, we're still waiting to find out exactly what happened. Rakesh Chopra, first to you, your comments.
Firstly, my condolences to the family. It's really a tragic accident. And not only tragic, for 3 trains to collide, it's very rare. It's very, very rare. One doesn't really get to hear that is the tragedy, that is how it has come. What I find is that there is going to be a detailed inquiry that is going to determine what is going to be the cause of the accident. And as a matter of fact, already reports have started coming out that probably there was a signal failure. But nevertheless, I think it'd be very appropriate till the inquiry is over and all facts and factors have been found out, and we get to the root of the problem and understand what really transpired and what happened. Because the tragedy is very, very serious, and it should be taken down to its real root cause, and then the accountability fixed on that.
That's right, because, preliminary, what we learned about this accident from speaking to, those who were at the site, our reporter who was at the site of the accident, was that one of the passenger trains came onto the track where the goods train was. And that is where this error seems to have taken place. And we understand it was some kind of a loop, and it came onto that and crashed into the goods train, which was stationary, its carriages, bogies falling on the other track. And then the second passenger train was coming from the other side, and then crashed into those bogies that were lying on the train tracks. But so that was the preliminary understanding, though right now the government saying that, we can't say anything at the moment and all aspects are being looked into. True,
but that tells a lot to us. As a matter of fact, for a train to go on the wrong track, that gives a lot of clear thought that why this happened. Now, this could be, as I feel, it could be a signaling failure. But more important, it is to determine how did the signaling failure occur. See, the signaling system is all electronics, and it is fail-proof. It's a safe proof. Lot of inbuilt checks and counter checks have been provided. So it would be interesting. That is why I said that it would be very interesting to find out from the inquiry that what really happened, what transpired. Did the signal fail? Was it a failure of the signal, or was the signal switched off and the tracks changed at the last moment? Or did this happen automatically? That means there was some defect in the circuitry that was there. So these are some facts which can only be known once the inquiry has gone through. So you see, the most important thing is the Chief Commissioner of Railway Safety's inquiry. He is himself a technical person, though not under the Ministry of Railways. He is going to be heading that inquiry. It does take a little time, but it will get to the root of the problem, and we'll get to know the crux, what really happened that time.
That's right. We've seen those visuals of the Coromandel train engine right on top of the goods train. Anil Tiwari, your comments on this terrible tragedy that's taken place, a train accident involving 3 trains, and this also one of the worst accidents in the last 2 decades. And we had really hoped that these kind of, tragedies were something of the past.
I am not very much comfortable in English, so I will speak in Hindi. Actually, हाँ, देखिए ऐसा है कि हमारे देश में भी पिछले कुछ समय से जितना भी फोकस है वो एलिट क्लास के लिए है. हम लोग वंदे भारत चला रहे हैं एलिट क्लास के लिए, हम बुलेट ट्रेन को प्लान कर रहे हैं एलिट क्लास के लिए, लेकिन जो नॉर्मल और जो कॉमन पैसेंजर है उसकी सेफ्टी के लिए कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं. अभी राकेश जी ने कहा जैसा कि इसकी एक इंक्वायरी आएगी, उसके बाद पता चलेगा कि क्या कमियां थी, क्या कारण थे. इससे पहले भी बहुत एक्सीडेंट हो चुके हैं, उसमें भी बहुत से कारण सामने आए हैं. क्या उनको रेक्टिफाई किया गया है? सुरक्षा को लेके, सिक्योरिटी को लेके, अनिल काकोडकर समिति से लेके कितनी सारी कमेटी बन चुकी है. अभी आप देखिए एविएशन सेक्टर में अगर कोई एक्सीडेंट होता है तो उसकी जो फाइंडिंग्स आती है वो एयरक्राफ्ट मैन्युफैक्चर से लेकर उसको जो ऑपरेशनल जो भी एजेंसी है, जो भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, वहां तक उसको गाइडलाइंस जाती हैं. आप 100% उसको सिक्योर करते हैं. तो हमारे रेलवे में ऐसा क्यों नहीं हो सकता है? 2 लेयर 3 लेयर सेफ्टी क्यों नहीं हो सकती है? अभी भी हमारा जो सिस्टम है उस पर हमारा फोकस ही नहीं है अपग्रेडेशन का. पुराने रेल ट्रैक्स बहुत पुराने हो गए, कुछ जगह पर बदले हैं, हम डेडिकेटेड फ्रेट कॉरिडोर।
All right, we will just return to Mr. Anil Tiwari, but pointing out a very important factor. And Rakesh Chopra, I'd like to take that to you. Yes, it's true that last couple of years we've heard a lot about the Vande Bharat. We've seen very, snazzy, coaches and, luxury trains as well. And there's been talk of how people should opt for train travel rather than air travel. And but one would have imagined, Mr. Anil Tiwari, will try and get him back, and he's saying that not enough attention was being paid to the safety and these trains for the common man. But as a common person myself, one would have imagined that all that was taken care of, and therefore we were looking forward to a new sort of train systems in India, a new sort of railway travel in India.
See, Gati, let me tell you one thing, just for the statistics purpose. Right from the 50s, in the first decade of the 50s, that is 50 to 60, we had some 45 accidents. But coming down the decades, the decade of the 70 was the one which had very high accidents. These were in the range of about 55, 56 in a year. That was surpassed in the decade of the 210 to 220. 210 to 220, they have touched about 70 accidents. But not to mean that, you see, there have been large number of trains which have been introduced. A lot many more trains compared to 70 have been running. So during all this while, the governments have been taking lot of measures. I mean, all the governments, and in the present government, if you see the amount of money that has been given, for instance, let's look at the signaling part. Signaling itself in the last year's budget, 56,000 crores have been given. And that new signaling systems, modern signaling systems, some of which are also imported, but mostly they have been developed in the country, the anti-collision devices and everything, they are being provided. But one has to realize the fact that we are a 70,000 kilometers, route kilometers railway, thousands of numbers of engines. All these require to be actually changed with the radio communication systems and all, and that takes time. But we cannot do that by stopping the trains. We must continue to run the traffic, run the freight traffic, run the passenger traffic. So that is what has been going on. Specifically with regard to the passengers, let me tell you that there has been a tremendous change in the type of coaches we have been using. The coaches in most of the trains now, I'm saying, whether it is for the AC class or the passenger class, those are the new modern coaches which are anti-collision coaches, which have again been got from Germany. The design is fundamentally from Germany. It has been manufactured in India. Those are being provided. But this particular accident, see, it's a very rare thing. It's a very rare thing. There's a high-speed train coming. As a matter of fact, it was expected to run through the station. It was not supposed to stop there. All of a sudden, it diverts and gets behind the goods train and hits the goods train. And the engine goes on top. So this is all because of the impact there. Simultaneously, because the frequency of trains is so high, and as Mr. Tiwari said rightly, this particular section is a very, very busy section. Yes. Very, very busy section. It requires to be redone. The other train was coming, and the other train driver could not have seen what has happened all of a sudden in that instant of a moment. So even if he applied the brakes, he hit the coaches which had come onto the other track. The impact on both sides was very high.
Right, terrible circumstances. It all came together that when these coaches had fallen before anyone could react, the second train came. Mr. Anil Tiwari is back with us. Sir, आप हमको बता रहे थे safety के बारे में, and what I was speaking to Mr. Rakesh Chopra was now when the attention is on Vande Bharat and luxury trains and better trains, हम सोच रहे थे कि शायद ये जो safety की issue है वो that is something that has been taken care of, because last couple of years we haven't had so many train accidents. In fact, hardly any.
नहीं, आप एकदम सही कह रही हैं, लेकिन आज जो हमारे एंटी कोलिजन डिवाइस है, ये पिछले 30 साल से इंडिया में उसका ट्रायल चल रहा है कि कब जाके सक्सेसफुल होगा. इसका भी एक टाइम होना चाहिए. दूसरा, जैसे कि सर ने अभी बताया कि 56,000 सिग्नलिंग पर खर्चा की, 56,000 करोड़ सिग्नलिंग पे खर्चा हुआ है. उसके बाद में भी अगर ये इंसिडेंस हो रहा है तो ये आज बहुत बड़ा एक अलार्मिंग इंसिडेंस है कि भविष्य में और कितने हो सकते हैं. अगर उस चीजों को अगर अभी आज इस पॉइंट पे नहीं जाके सुधारा गया और फोकस जो चीज नया एक सिस्टम, एक नया इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हम तैयार कर रहे हैं, डीएफसी का हो या बुलेट का हो या सेमी हाई स्पीड ट्रेन का हो, वो जरूरत है देश की। पर जो सिस्टम ऑलरेडी चल रहा है उसकी सेफ्टी को इंश्योर करना क्या जरूरी नहीं है? ये मेरे ख्याल से बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है। आप इसको ह्यूमन फेलियर या टेक्निकल फेलियर बोल के हम सिर्फ और उसकी इंक्वायरी पर जाकर इस चीज को खत्म नहीं कर सकते। ये कहीं ना कहीं जाके इसकी एंड होना चाहिए। एंटी कोलिशन डिवाइस ममता बनर्जी जब रेलवे मंत्री थी तब इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया था। 3 डिकेड्स, ऑलमोस्ट 3 डिकेड्स निकल गए हैं। तो अब और कितना समय चाहिए? अगर आज भी कोलाइड हो रही है ट्रेन, मींस हमारा सिस्टम फेलियर है। हम जिस टेक्नोलॉजी पे काम कर रहे हैं वो गलत है, हमको कोई दूसरी टेक्नोलॉजी अडॉप्ट करनी पड़ेगी। ये चीजों पर भी सोचना पड़ेगा। आज दुनिया में बहुत हम तो 100 किलोमीटर पर आवर की स्पीड में चल रहे हैं, दुनिया 300 किलोमीटर पर आवर की स्पीड में चल रही है। 540 का ट्रायल हो चुका है सक्सेसफुल, वो भी यही ट्रेडिशनल ट्रैक्स पर। मैं मैगलेव या और किसी की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं, मैं इस ट्रेडिशनल ट्रैक की बात कर रहा हूं जिसके ऊपर रेलवे का सिस्टम पूरी दुनिया में चलता है। वहां पर इतना नहीं है जितना हमारे वहां। ये बात आपकी बिल्कुल सही है कि बहुत समय से कोई एक्सीडेंट नहीं हुआ, लेकिन उसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि हम अभी भी फुल प्रूफ है। जिसमें एक सामान्य आदमी, एक सामान्य नागरिक देश का ट्रेवल करता है, वो फुल प्रूफ होना चाहिए।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। वो जो पहले जैसे दहशत होती थी या फिक्र होता था कि ट्रेन एक्सीडेंट्स का, इट वाज समथिंग ऑफ द पास्ट, एंड वेरी tragically this train accident has brought back those memories. Thank you so much Anil Tiwari ji and Rakesh Chopra for joining us on the program.